Welcome to my ready room. I'm Murdoch and this is 5 Minute Trek, and I've got 5 minutes to give you the rundown on a Star Trek vessel, or in this case, 3. Today we're going to look at the Daedalus-Class and its informal descendants, the Olympic-Class, and the recently revealed Nobel-Class. The ships whose design language appears to be, let's stick a softball onto a thermos and give it warp nacelles. The Daedalus-Class gets its start all the way back in the early years preceding the founding of the United Federation of Planets. That's right, this ship class predates the NX-01 in that it first entered the United Earth Starfleet service in the 2140s and became grandfathered into the Federation Starfleet after its founding. The Daedalus was already considered outdated, silly hands, by the time the NX-01 Enterprise had already begun its exploratory mission. However, the developing conflict with the Romulan Star Empire gave the class a new lease on life as a refitted cannon fodder. Okay, look, all my research into this vessel class makes me understand that was really easy to mass produce, okay? And these ships were, like, everywhere. But trash talking this venerable class aside, they were cheaply made, with the priority of quantity over quality because the Romulans were packing some serious heat and, you know, the numbers to back them. So it kind of made sense. The war effort was more important. It's not all bad news, though. The technologies both found and discovered in the creation and journeys of the NX-01 were properly built into these newer ships, and the surviving ones were also promptly refitted in hopes of standing a better chance against the Federation's enemies. I said venerable for a reason, okay? The Daedalus-Class vessels would have their first service life end and be allowed to retire, or so they thought, in 2196. At least 3 original Daedalus-Class ships were brought back out of retirement and retrofitted by mid-23rd century. These known ships were the USS Lavelle, Nassau, and Xander, and all given modern armaments and amenities contemporary to the vessels of the time. The 2 unknown Daedalus-Class vessels were further modernized and kept docked at Starbase 25 still by the 2380s. Of all things. Okay, so what about the other ship class I mentioned, the Olympic? Well, this spiritual successor was significantly bigger, nearly 3 times or so at roughly 310 meters long. The Olympic class is understood to have entered Starfleet service as early as 2341, during Enterprise C's heyday. Despite being a bigger, more modern version of the Daedalus-styled formula, the Olympic and its sub-variants, the Hope and Horizon classes, don't stray too much from that formula. You got your giant ball-like habitation and command saucer, or sphere in this case, I guess, in the front, an elongated engineering hull section in the back, and a couple of nacelles sticking out from the sides. These vessels were comparable to something like a refit Constitution in size. They also had the distinction of being a dedicated fleet of science vessels. Being fancier, though, did not save them from being a ship-sized version of a red shirt like their predecessor either. As tensions mounted around the Hoba Supernova event, at least 3 Olympic-class ships were sent to offer aid to the Romulan Star Empire, and all 3 of them were swiftly destroyed by Nero's Borg-adapted mining ship, the Narada. The Olympic class would continue its service life into the 25th century, however, and become an option for you, the player captain, in Star Trek Online. Speaking of Star Trek Online, this brings me to our 3rd and final vessel today, the Nobel-Class. The Nobel only recently entered service here in the 2014s, as a result of the Federation Corps of Engineers doing what they do best and preparing this batch of responder vessels. was unveiled to the Federation along with the Bozeman intelligence-leaning heavy frigate class, aka a modernized Miranda. Again, we'll cover that class in detail in another video. And the Cabot-class command-leaning light escort. This one shares its design DNA with the Shran class and their Discovery-era ancestor, the McGee-class. The Nobel, however, is a bit different. It's beefier, not only in appearance, but in raw performance as well. It comes with a cyclical slipstream drive, and more impressively, it's capable of sphere separation and holding its own in a fight far better than its predecessors ever could. Most importantly, the design language of this ship says, I share a lineage with Olympic and Daedalus, but I'm not tied to their formula. Unfortunately, because the ship class is so new, however, I don't have any more unclassified details to share with you at this time. That's it for this episode. I'll see you in the next one.